And the crazy mayhem. Yes.
Rock on Radio is brought to you by Jody Weber, CPA,
Busy.
Eileen Sullivan, actress Eileen Sullivan,
Mm-hmm.
and by O'Connor's American Bar and Grill of
They're
Mount
very
Holly,
good, yep.
the official caterers of the
Woo!
Rock on Radio Christmas Spectacular,
Which was fantastic.
and Rock on Radio in general.
Mm-hmm.
And D.L. Byron, the maker of Zen Archer Hot
Mhm.
Sauce,
Right?
the only radio program in the history of the world sponsored by a Grammy Award-winning hot sauce maker.
Yes.
I don't know if that's true, but our legal department.
We'll verify.
I need a hot sauce sound.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think a small scream.
All right. We also have
John
John
Johnny.
Alberici
Mhm.
is
His Autoglass. Mhm.
taking up his vocation once again,
Mhm.
working for himself once again. Johnny's Autoglass.
Yep.
What? You find that funny?
Very.
He
can't
can't
even
even talk.
do it.
He's eating.
We're expecting a call from a Mr. Kevin Giordano tonight.
Mhm.
I put the word out to several others to give us a call, but I'm very excited. For those of you at home, this is my very excited face. We are
Looks
very
kinda
excited.
frightened, or-
Doesn't it? Well,
Yeah.
it is because I'm like,
Goes with your
wow,
hair.
somebody likes us.
Really, really likes it.
Now, this lady
Mhm.
to my right,
Right.
which I'm guessing is your left at home. I'm not sure.
It's my
But
left.
your
anyway.
left, okay. This lady here, this young lady here, was foolish enough. I mean, walked into. She went to the Making Waves benefit back in
Mhm.
what, November? Okay.
Yeah. It was
And
Thanksgiving.
she bid on the Rock on Radio toolkit. She got a little
Mm.
toolbox.
Nice.
She got a pound of Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
No, I
Mm.
didn't get any.
Oh, you didn't get it yet?
No, it
Ah.
was left at the
At Langosta.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they never gave it to you.
No,
Someone ate it.
well, I think that it was misplaced somewhere.
And they still haven't found it?
Yeah, misplaced.
Uh-huh. Someone's using a toolkit somewhere.
Oh.
It's
But the only advantage she got was to come on here.
well, whoever stole the Rock on Radio toolkit, the joke's on you. Will self-destruct in another 3 days. But
It wasn't real coffee either.
One of the things that we'll have to
I
see.
wish.
We'll have to see if we can rectify that.
Yes.
One of the things that was part of what was in it was
What you didn't
a
get.
pound of Dunkin' Donuts coffee, 2 Rock on Radio coffee mugs, some Rock on
Mhm.
Radio pens,
Mhm.
a couple of CDs,
Mhm.
City of Angels T-shirts,
Mhm.
and a chance to co-host this program on any night she chose. Woo! And she
This is
chose
it.
She chose tonight.
I'm glad you didn't choose Tuesday.
Well, true, because we would have to come in here. We would have like Michael Ray in here again. But yes, she is the co-host and also the guest.
Yeah, right. Default.
Unfortunately, our guest, our scheduled guest, canceled,
Mm.
and she cannot be with us this evening. But we have Miss Chelsea Downey.
Woo!
This first time you ever been on radio?
Yes.
Wow. So therefore, I can assume, even in my little brain, I can assume that this is the first time you've ever co-hosted a radio program.
It is.
See how I deduced that?
Wow, you are good. Very good.
And who have you brought along with you?
So I have my boyfriend Evan Melendez.
Woo, woo, woo.
And it just so happens
How nice is
that
this?
Evan and I have 2 things in common. Well, 3 if you include Chelsea being here. But 2 things in common. He is a musician
Mhm.
and he is a drummer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, and you're in a band called
Super Judge.
Super Judge.
Nice. They just played at the Saint last night.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
Mhm.
on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And they played at the Pony last weekend,
Yeah,
Stone Pony, and
Crossroads the weekend before that.
yeah,
So
Okay.
Nice.
we're doing
They're
pretty good in
busy.
2018. So 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
ended 20.
if you want to give us a call tonight, you can do so at 609-241-7103 if you have questions or comments, or possibly any music suggestions that I probably don't have. But I have a we are going to be playing some We are going to be playing some indie artists this evening that I have accumulated over the nearly 10 years of this program. And maybe some Super Judge stuff as well. You like how I put in my high-powered radio voice when I say
did.
Super Judge?
It was excellent. Thank you.
I was kind of laughing driving in here tonight, man, because I was like, oh, can we play?
Oh, we got plenty. You've got plenty.
Good.
Yeah, I've got plenty.
I've got plenty.
Yeah.
You got that yellow cord. I can stick. We'll be good. We'll
We
be,
have plenty.
we'll be good.
What are you doing with the yellow cord?
We put it in here.
Oh,
All right.
she's getting really comfortable
See,
right
that's
there.
perfect.
She
That's
got
beautiful.
it. Yep.
Okay, Chelsea. So, what are your intentions with my radio program? Okay, where are you from?
I live in Long Branch right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Been there for about a year.
Oh, all right.
I love it.
Oh, you're from Jersey originally?
Yeah. I've
Okay.
lived in Jersey most of my life. I lived in Arkansas for
Okay.
a couple years, but
there's a totally
gotta
be-
different place.
There's got to be a story there.
yeah, long story.
I
Too long for the show, probably.
what I want to, well, we got 2 hours. Literally 2 hours.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to know, about Arkansas, perhaps you can tell me, is, it's pronounced Arkansas, but it's spelled Arkansas. What's the deal?
Maybe mispronunciation. I don't know. Maybe they thought it was their version of Kansas.
There's Artigony,
Antigone, you
Arkansas.
mean?
Antigone,
Antigone.
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I don't know.
Well, then
And
why isn't it like
Arkansas.
Arkansas?
It's true.
That'd be too many S's. If you want to be grammatically correct. I
Yes.
guess. But phonetically,
That would work.
there you go. All right. Okay, so that's another unsolved mystery. for
She's a New
another time.
Jersey girl.
Yeah.
She care what Arkansas is doing.
I was
Even though
young.
she lived
I
there.
was young when I was.
Well, I thought she might have had insight. She doesn't agree. All right, so
they didn't teach that.
They might not even know why they call it Arkansas.
they may not even know they're in Arkansas.
They may not even. That's true.
I don't know where I am.
We're not in Kansas anymore either.
I'm surprised you haven't
Arkansas.
Googled that yet.
I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of
There's
doing
some-
something.
Middle of-
All right. I'll get back to you. Why is it pronouns?
So we have. So you're up here.
Mhm.
Okay. Have you ever? We already decided you've never been on the radio before, but have you ever had an interest in coming on the radio? And what on earth made you bid on that basket?
She wanted the coffee.
Honestly, I didn't even look at any of the baskets. I just wanted
I'm
to
feeling
win.
much better now.
Comes out.
Feeling much better. Okay.
I put money on each one of the baskets, just hoping to win. And I donated food, so I
you
think you
did.
got a chance
Yes,
to
you
win
did.
if you donate food. So and we actually even left early because I was tired. So I didn't even stay for
The
the
drawing?
Yeah, that's why I didn't get the basket originally. They held on to it for me, and then they left it there, and then I guess it was misplaced somewhere.
Then it disappeared.
Yeah.
The homeless people have it now. To benefit
There's
us,
some
I guess.
homeless guy sitting behind a pony with a pound of Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
And 2
Hey,
mugs.
somebody want it.
You're gonna see him on a billboard. The face of Asbury.
That's funny.
Do you want to know the reason why Arkansas is pronounced or Arkansas is pronounced Arkansas?
Sure. Inquiring minds want to know.
Arkansas is the French interpretation of the Sioux word, which the Indians called that land when they met each other. So the name stuck.
Huh.
So in French, things are not pronounced the way they're spelled.
Mm.
Oui, oui.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi. So there you go.
Oh, there you go.
It's a French thing.
Hello, Kevin John Allen. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Kevin John Allen is listening. Our good
I
buddy.
see.
He's up there in where's Kevin at these days? He used to be up around the Highlands somewhere. Long Branch.
Oh.
Up that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Highlands are far. It's nice.
Yeah.
Twin Lights.
Go hiking there sometimes.
Do
Yeah,
you?
we went hiking once there. Yeah.
Well,
was-
I'm glad
that
you
was a
made it
good
back. Yeah, walked up that hill. Oh, there's a Statue of Liberty. All right, time to go. Okay, so Well, since we know you had no interest in radio,
Honestly, I mean, I thought it was really cool. That's why I kept reaching out about it. I thought the idea of that in a basket was really cool. So I,
Trust me, she's
And here
she's
you
being
are.
real. She was
it
super
piques my
excited.
interest.
Yeah.
So,
When she finally learned what it was, she was like, "You're never gonna believe this."
yeah.
I
See?
get to do this.
you know, Chelsea, there are no accidents. Seriously, there are no accidents. I am a firm believer that the universe or God or whatever you may want to call it puts you where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And
Not always.
Well, you're not sure all the time.
He's off on the timing sometimes.
wow.
He may not be early, but he's never late.
Ooh, see, that's why we have a
That's
religious
good.
advisor. Yeah, she jumped right in there on it.
I was just testing her. She did good.
If you're just tuning in, this is Rock On Radio. I am your host, Danny Coleman. And we are joined this evening by, I'm not.
By oops.
By oops. Oh, that's not a good sound.
Kevin,
Oops.
our 705 call,
Yes.
for whatever reason.
Is 10 minutes late.
No, he called my cell phone 3 times.
Oops. Wrong phone.
Which is on vibrate or mute.
Of course.
It's on mute because we are on the air. So let me text him and tell him to dial this number so we can talk to him.
Cool. And we can listen to
then
his
we'll get
music.
ready to
And we
call.
can mess with him when he calls.
Yes.
Hi, Bill's Pizza.
Fred Mortuary, you kill him, we chill him.
You stab him, we slab him. Now, my day job.
There he is.
See the power of technology? That's beautiful. Hello, welcome to Rock On Radio. Is this Kevin?
Yes. Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Woo!
How are you, Kev?
Fine, thank you. I'm so glad you're taking me as a part of the show tonight. Thank you.
Kev, I have a special co-host here this evening, Chelsea, and she brought Evan along with her. Until you called, they were the show. And now you're the show.
You might want to continue with that part of the show. Then. So I'm here with my drummer Gary Accavelli, and we're just pleased that you are willing to give us some time to talk about everything.
We have actually we've got nothing but time this evening.
That's right.
Kev, that's perfect. So you just created a single called God Save the Queen, which is done in a very Queen-like fashion. Correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That was the idea. I had it in my head. I didn't know how it would come out in the recording, but I just kept trying to get it to sound like it did in my well, I dreamt a little bit of it in a way, and then I just kind of tried to get it out on the paper as I heard it.
okay.
And so eventually I had a rough draft, and I called Gary and I said, give this a listen, get the drum tracks to come along with it. And eventually in September, amongst all the hype from the movie that was coming out, and I mean, it was just I had no idea the movie was coming out. We still just we just went ahead and wrote and recorded, and seemed to come together pretty nicely, time wise.
Yeah, their timing was impeccable.
Yeah, well, we were very fortunate to do that. I'd love to take credit, say I knew all of that ahead of time, but I didn't know anything ahead of time. So,
Sometimes what's that old saying too, Kev? Ignorance is bliss. So if you didn't know, that's even better, right?
I live bliss then. Yeah. So it originally was come about. The idea came about because I was asked by my manager to compose a song for a Queen tribute band, and that band was looking to get their own material. So tribute bands don't normally have their own material because their own material has already been written by the band they're paying tribute to.
Right.
So my first question is, why would they want to redo Queen songs and put them out as their own version of it? If you want to hear Queen songs, there's plenty of albums you can go find to hear that. So he says, no, they want their own. It sounds like Queen. So I said, well, I'll give it a shot. So I went home and cursed myself for saying yes to it. And then started to fall asleep, and I thought just something came to me right in that twilight before you fall asleep. I just thought of God Save the Queen, and it was just going to be the story of the last few years of Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
Which is just a lot to say about that part of time. I'm sure he was having quite a time in his life at that point. And so I tried my best to emulate what he was going through. And so I wrote that for most of the month of August. And then I introduced it to my bandmate, like Gary here. And we started just rehearsing it and put it together.
And how long? How long did it take you to record it? And besides Gary, who else is on the recording?
Gary's playing the drums. I played all the guitars. I did all the vocals. We had a pianist come in by the name of Andy Rudy doing all the piano parts. And then I went back in and I added some more of the piano parts. I wrote the piano parts and I played them originally, but he came in and recorded them. And then for bass playing, my brother, who was my musical partner and my business partner, my best friend, he was just everything to me. He unfortunately got sick 3 or 4 years ago now. He passed away quickly with a brain tumor. It was just a very shocking, horrible thing. And I was kind of lost without him around anymore. And it took me a couple of years to get back to playing. And the way I did it was I started to do a tribute CD to him with all of us band members that were still left standing around without him. He was an amazing bass player, amazing musician, a great engineer in the studio. And so to do this, I had to find somebody, and I ended up asking a former student of mine. I'm an orchestra music teacher, and I have a former student that actually I taught, and he eventually went into music for his career. His name is Joey Arcuri, and Joey plays with Driftwood, which is a band that plays all around the country. Yeah. And so Joey came in, and it was a great experience to have him and Gary. Gary was very close with my brother Mark as well, and we all played together in a Steely Dan cover band for years. So bringing Joey in was just a great way to celebrate my brother, but also a little new, younger heart into the whole thing.
Okay.
So that's who's on it. And I did 35 vocal tracks, and
that was going to be my next question. I know when we were talking earlier this week that you said you did countless numbers of vocal tracks to get the harmonies that Queen used. And you also told me that they went about it in a very interesting way. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So I had to do a lot of research on the band, on Queen, to emulate the sound. It wasn't just going to be good enough to try to get what I was hearing in my head. I tried to find out how they actually recorded a lot of things, the actual engineering that went on behind it. So a lot of people can get this information if they dig a little bit, but Bohemian Rhapsody was a great way to find out about their vocals, and some of the biographies explain it. And Brian May explains it sometimes you can find stuff online too. But what they did, what I tried to do was they would have 3 vocals which would be Brian, Roger, and Freddie all singing the same line. And they would record that. Then they would sing the same line again, all three guys singing in unison together. So that would be now a second track of the same line of music. So now you got 6 people on the same line of music. Then they would do it again. Three more voices. There are 3 voices again on the third track, same line of music. So they would leave it at that with 9 voices singing one line. Then they would sing the next harmony line above it and do it like that again with 9 people or 3 tracks of that.
So they just kept layering and layering and layering.
Layers. Huge. So I just did that. And then I tried to emulate Roger's voice. Roger is the highest voice in Queen. You hear him way up. He's the one doing the Galileo part in Bohemian Rhapsody, and he's in a lot of the harmonies, but he's the highest one. He sounds like an operatic soprano. You know. So,
And he was the drummer, Roger Tim, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just giving the drummers
And-
props. The guy in the studio is a drummer.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought Gary. I wanted drummer to talk. No sing. I didn't sing. I wanted Gary to sing.
I'm with you. I'm with
That's
you.
the exact sing. I couldn't do it.
Although the drummer here, Evan, he does sing. So
He sing.
While drumming?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Both leads and backups.
Wow.
You
See?
can't get high
That's
pitched
not
like
easy.
that, though.
I was just saying.
Not Freddie. No, definitely not hitting that.
Actually, I
range.
believe a lot of the history he's talking about is on Mercury Rising, which is like Freddie Mercury's biography.
Mhm.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Mercury Rising.
Okay, so go ahead, Kev.
Yeah.
Sorry, we digressed from you.
Oh, that's all right. My whole life is a digression. Don't worry. So I had a little bit of information, and then that took care of the vocals, how I was going to do it, all the layering, and then the type of harmony I did. I tried to keep most of the harmonies up above the main melody, which would have been Freddie, a little bit below it, but most of everything up above. And on top of that, I tried to add more than the third and the fifth and the octave. I tried to put in 9th and 7th and 11th and 13th and anything I could that would thicken up the harmony, because they did a little bit of that as well. Not as much as everybody thinks, but they did do a little bit of that, at least as much as I could find.
Okay.
Because
I can't
you
even
can't
count
put too
that
much of that in.
I said I can't even count that high, Kev. 5th, 9th.
Right.
I'm a drummer. I count to 4.
It'll sound like Steely Dan the minute you start really adding
Yeah.
dissonant notes like that. So,
Right.
which I was fine with, but that just didn't fit Queen. But there is a little bit.
Okay.
And then, keeping the chords top heavy in the vocals, and then singing a very wide range melody like Freddie would sing with a huge range. I tried to emulate that as well.
Okay.
So that took care of the vocals. And then for the guitars, I really tried to study how Brian got his sound. And for a while, out of my whole arsenal of foot pedals and guitars and amps and everything, I could not emulate his sound without actually buying his guitar. So I was almost ready to buy his style guitar. He sells them. They're for sale because nobody sounds like Brian May.
This is true.
And so I was just about to, and our sound engineer here at Subcat Studios, Ryan Keck, does a good job, who was really involved with this. He suggested we get a patch that we could, that he said they probably had a Brian May patch studio. Well, he did. We found it. I went direct into the board and used that patch.
Wow.
And I played without a pick. I played using a dime, which is the closest I could get to what Brian May uses, which is a 6-pence coin out of a British coin. And he uses the 1950s era currency, not the new one. Now, you don't want the diameter to be off. So he definitely had.
It was better metal back then too.
It's heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
It wasn't heavy metal; it was a better metal.
That's it. Well, all right.
So-
So how can we find this single?
The song can be found on Facebook. We have a whole page dedicated to the song right now. Kevin Michael Giordano on Facebook, and it's "God Save the Queen."
Okay.
And once I had the instruments established and the vocals established, it was time to get Gary involved, and Ron Keck, our engineer, he decided we were going to emulate the drums. We were going to emulate the set like Rogers was back in the 70s.
Okay.
I don't know, Gary, would you say that?
I'm not sure what set he used. I think Ron in the studio used the Thomas set. And Ron is also a drummer. And so I just really sat down and played. He had it tuned to exactly the way he wanted it, and it was easy for me. So I just sat down and played. I think most of the bed of the tune was laid already, right? I did 3 takes over everything, and I think it took maybe most of the.
Well, we did. Gary did it in 3 takes. He took the 3rd take, comped a little bit here and there, played it to a click, and it came out great. I mean, we were shocked in the studio. Gary came in and did it in 3 takes. It was just unbelievable.
Okay. Sounds like you had the best experience, Gary. You were in and out.
Yeah. Well, you know, my energy wanes after 3 takes. So I gotta have something to eat.
Actually, honestly, you want to know the best recording session I ever did in my life was that there's a local guy here by the name of Tommy Rioch, runs a recording studio named Squirrel Ranch Studios, and another fellow by the name of his name is Papa Carl, and Papa Carl was submitting a track for in New Jersey up at the Meadowlands. They have a racetrack, the Meadowlands racetrack, and they have this big race every year called the Hamiltonian. I can't remember. Anyway, friends of ours owned the racehorse, and they asked us to submit this track. So Papa Carl writes this track. It's called Winning Time, and there's a great blues harmonica player by the name of Guy DeRosa on it. Our friend Charles Laredo, who wrote the theme song for this program, he played bass for that, and I played the drums. It was supposed to be a 6 p.m. recording session. Charles gives lessons. He showed up at 6:10. We go in, 2 takes. The song is done. I was home on my couch, which was about 5 miles away, by 6:55. It was the quickest session I've ever done in my life. In and out. I was like, man, money for nothing, chicks for free.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, what we're going to do right now, Kev, is we're going to play the tune. And again, how can we find it? What are your websites?
We are on Facebook.
Okay.
God Save the Queen, Kevin Michael Giordano. And so my name is spelled, of course, Kevin Michael, but my last name is G as in Georgia, I-O-R, D as in David, A-N as in Nancy, O. It's like Giordano's Pizza in Chicago.
Whoa, there you go. Not like Arkansas.
And
We're not in Kansas anymore.
That's it. We already established that. Well, I'll tell you what. Go ahead.
It's also on YouTube. It's also on YouTube, and it's just there's a lyric video on YouTube just by the name of God Save the Queen and under my name. And the song can be purchased on CD Baby, and it's also on SoundCloud.
Okay.
Under Kevin Michael Giordano. So 3
Fantastic.
places really.
I got to tell you, when you told me the title of that, or when our buddy Chip sent me the press release with the title, God Save the Queen, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking to myself, why does that sound like something? Was that a David Bowie song? Have I heard this before? And then, you know what? It dawned on me actually this evening on my way here, Kevin. When I was in a band, in my very first ever band in high school, we wrote a song that was way too similar to Ziggy Stardust, but that was the title, God Save the Queen.
Wow.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of
That's what it
connections
was.
going on here. It finally
I
dawned
got
on me.
copyright for it
No, it's all yours, man. Keep it. Keep it.
now. Keep it.
Keep it. I think Bowie's rolling over in his grave anyways. But all right, we're going to all right, you have that queued up? All right. Kev and Gary, thank
Yeah.
you so much for taking the time to call
Thank
us,
you.
buddy. We appreciate it. And we wish you the best of luck with this. And I'm going to, everybody that listening or may be listening in the future, other than tonight, which is live,
Mhm.
into the future. We have Kevin and I talked at length a couple days ago, and I'll be doing a feature for one of my New Jersey stage cops
Awesome.
on this song and Kevin and so on and so forth, who is a touring musician himself. So,
Nice.
Kev, thank you very much, buddy. We're gonna play it
Thank
for you.
you.
We're gonna play it for you right now.
Oh, great.
This is Kevin Giordano. God Save the Queen. I live my life like I always dreamed. Fame and fortune, fantasy was reality. I watched her sing every rhapsody. To the words I sang became the truth in my destiny. Eyes upon the changes happening to me. God save me. What's happening? What's happening to me? Around the world, the same disease was a mystery. And praying for the day they say God save the Queen. God save the Queen. God save the Queen. All was suffering. When the world shall be the same. When I go away. On my way to praise the final truth. I'm trying to say what we all do. The story has been written too long. There's before and after in the song. Children married by autism not wrong. My soul, you will be when I go away. Now I pray, God save me. Raise my eyes to let God see the light of the hands I love that they hold me. Forever live the light of Freddie Mercury. Save the Queen. God Save the Queen by Kevin Giordano right here on Rock On Radio. Did you lose something there, Claire? Or what
Lost my ears.
See if you find my mind down there when you're looking.
That's a bigger trip.
If you're just tuning in, this is Rock On Radio. I am Danny Coleman, and our special guest co-host this evening is Chelsea Downey, and she brought along with her Evan Melendez of the band Super Judge, which we're going to get to some of their stuff in a little bit. So you, you said you grew up mostly in Jersey.
Yeah,
Yeah?
mostly.
What kind of music did you listen to when you were growing
A little bit of everything. Obviously, like I listened to whatever my dad was listening to when I was a
up?
kid.
See, old like me?
he like
She just laughed. What a good co-host. How old are you?
Shut up, stupid old man.
You look a lot like him.
Tell him who your dad's favorite artist is, though.
Bruce Springsteen. Yeah.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. Mhm.
I see.
So
So he is
Grew
old
up-
like you.
grew up a lot on that. Yeah.
Her dad is like Roy Bittan or something. He's in the E Street Band.
He wishes.
You're sitting in the same chair as Vinny.
I
Lopez.
wish.
That's right. Vinny
That's right.
Lopez is that. That's right.
and Nick Clemens.
And Nick
And
Clarence.
Clarence.
Wow.
Clarence's son.
Son.
And
Yeah.
Same chair.
Vinny was the original drummer of the E Street Band.
Oh.
Very
Vinny
good.
Mad Dog
Mhm.
Lopez. The first two albums are his drums that you hear.
Yeah.
So, okay. So your dad is a Springsteen.
Yeah.
Is he a musician as well?
No. He always wished he could drum and stuff like that. You know, he would always get like my brother the what are the ones you have, the electric drum
Electronic
kits.
drums
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he would try and play on those. And they both would. Never stuck to it though.
What's your dad's first name?
Steven.
Steven, you can do it. You
Yeah.
can become a musician. See? Look,
That would be
if I
so
did it,
wild if
anybody
it
could do
was
it.
listening right now.
We're gonna get him a
Wow.
harmonica or something for Christmas next year.
There we go.
There
We
you
could
go.
do that.
See? A harmonica. That's what my son said to me. My son said when he was about 10. He said, Dad, teach me how to play the drums.
Oh.
And I said, no. And he looked at me because mine were set up in the basement. And he said, what do you mean, no? Come on, Dad. I want to learn how to play the drums. I said, I have 3 words for you. Play the harmonica. I said, because if you're the drummer, you got to be there an hour before to set up, and you're there
Yeah.
for about an hour after, while all your guitar player buddies are at the bar drinking beer, talking to the girls. You're over there trying to make sure nobody walks off with your $300 Ocean cymbal. So I said, all right, come on, I'll teach you how to play. And I let him sit down, and he tried, and about 15 minutes later, he goes, forget this. See, because many people think they can just pick up a pair of sticks and, I'm going
Sure.
to be a drummer.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you either have it or you don't. I think 100%. My guitar player, I'll catch him on my kit sometimes, and he's like, "How do you do the roll stuff?" But I got him. He does like a standard 4/4 beat, fine. So got him doing that, and that made his day. So he could do it.
When I was dating my now ex-wife, my son's mother, she says, "What's so hard about this? What's so hard?" I said, "Sit down." She
Yeah.
sits down. I said,
Dealing with you.
right? I said, take your right hand and just keep a steady 4 on that cymbal over there. And she's like, okay. I said, all right. Now on 2 and 4, I said, I want you to count to 4. And on 2 and 4, I want you to hit the snare drum. And on 1 and 3, the left foot, and 2 and 4, the bass drum. She threw the sticks out. Let's go. We're going to be late.
That's the hardest part. I've
Yeah,
tried
it's
to
coordination,
with
yeah.
your feet. How do you do it
Yeah.
with your feet? I can get the arms, but the feet, no.
And that's
Oh.
amazing that you sing too, because
Yeah.
so many drummers. I mean, you're doing so many things. How
Yeah.
do you add singing to that?
Well, who's your favorite drummer?
Well, a lot of my favorite drummers, unfortunately, aren't with us any longer. But classic, probably John Bonham. More new age, the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold. He's not for everybody, but
Okay.
those 2 guys are just, I just love them. They're amazing. Bill Ward as well, Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
I I'm actually drawing a blank at his name, but the drummer from Iron Maiden as well. The guy has 3 feet. So it's one of my I love that's one of my favorite things about the drummers from the 70s and 80s. I think is that they always sound like they had 3 feet. And I don't know how. I don't know how they did that.
Who was I just talking to? Was talking about? Oh,
It really had 3 feet.
back then we've evolved since then. Evolution.
You dropped a few things.
There was a bass player was in played with everybody. Right now he's playing with the Guess Who. His name's Rudy Sarzo. He was in Quiet Riot. He was in Ozzy Osbourne's band. He was, and Rudy said one of the things he was telling me that one of the things that about like Bill Ward was that that he played more English drums where he was on top of the beat instead of underneath it. And learning various styles of drummers is, I actually think my devotion to John Bonham is what has got me removed from several bands. I'm serious. And let me explain why, because you know how he plays in polyrhythms. His hands are doing one thing, his feet are doing another, and they're not necessarily in the same time signature.
No.
And whenever I used to have a headache, if I had a headache, come home from school, I would put on side one of Physical Graffiti and just, in my time of dying and and that took
Wait,
that.
what does side 1 mean?
Well, it was side one of it. It's a double album.
I'm just kidding.
Woo, she got you. Woo, you old man.
I am old. Right over my head. Hey, for stumping the host, you get a tote bag and a magnet.
Flip the 8-track
Do you
over.
see that? Right? Flip the 8-track. That's right.
Yeah.
What does that skip mean? What does that skip mean?
Darn, I lost the eraser from my pencil. Can't rewind. Good one. Good one. I like her. Can
They
we,
don't, they
can
don't
we
put
keep her
CD
too?
players in cars anymore.
I know. We get to keep her and Pamela Flores.
Yes. Well, where are you going to keep them?
Can we keep her? Okay, he's got to show up every song. So, yeah, and that would, but what would happen is I would go get into bands, and if they were, and I found myself playing in polyrhythms, and apparently it threw people off, or they thought I didn't practice hard enough, or I was doing too much. And
Yeah.
I am not a busy drummer.
Mhm.
I'm very basic. 4/4 is my friend, because I do a lot of freelance work. Or I used to, not so much now, but I used to do a lot of freelance work in Asbury and
Yeah.
other things. And it's you kind of learn to dumb yourself down so that you continue just to fit in, so that you know where to start. I always used to say to them, look, I've never heard your material, but just give me a nod. If we stop and start, we're good.
Mhm.
And you brought that up. Speaking of Springsteen,
Yeah.
if you look at his video for Edwin Starr's War that he recorded on the 75 to 85 DVD and 4 CD box set, whatever it was, there's a video out for that where he basically just flinches his arm and the whole band goes into boom. What is it good for?
Yeah.
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 And it's like, how did they know to come in? But yeah.
Have you seen the Springsteen on Broadway yet?
no.
For $1,000?
Yeah.
No.
it's so
It's on Netflix for
Oh,
free.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw
It was awesome. I mean,
Oh, they put a special on.
Yeah, we gotta watch
it's
that.
just him
Yeah.
on stage. I mean, he plays
Right.
the piano. He
I
plays
don't know
So
if
it's like
on
the show he
Netflix.
put on.
and he tells his story,
Yeah.
which is really, I mean, you're like, like listen,
It's like the show he put on at Sovereign Bank Arena back when the arena first opened. Remember? It was just him and a piano
yeah.
and an acoustic guitar.
Mhm.
Well, that's what that was. It was really good. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but it sucked me right in.
Nice.
Oh
Patty
Mhm.
comes out with him too,
yeah.
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 only for like a half an hour out of the whole thing.
Then she gets the hook.
Pull
it off.
That's cool though. Because what was left for him to do anyway? Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So.
Exactly, right?
Well, it's a light of day weekend is coming up. So, and he's not on tour. He's not doing Broadway. So there's a good chance he'll be at
He
the
might show
Paramount
up.
Theater
Yeah.
Yeah.
like he does. Willie Niles here for 3 nights. So that's usually,
Mhm.
and usually Joe Grishecki comes into town for that.
Mhm.
That's a guarantee. So there's a good chance there'll be a Bruce sighting at the Paramount
Mhm.
Theater
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
coming week, a week from.
He did a lot.
Yesterday.
I think he did a lot this summer, right?
Yeah, he
the
showed,
lanes.
he showed up a
He
few
did
times.
Yeah.
something at
Yeah,
the lanes,
yeah.
so
Mhm.
which I love that place.
He was at the Wonder Bar a few weeks ago just watching the Giants.
Really?
That's awesome.
Yeah, but they had to move, right, didn't he? Because someone's bugging him or something.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah. That's
But,
the thing too. When he plays, it has to be a surprise because otherwise, it'll like no venue there is big enough to, I don't think, support his.
Right.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
met him one night, and it's been a while since I told this story on air. But actually, when I was on the phone before we went on air, I was on the phone with an artist by the name of Joe Weimer,
Mm.
and her and I was her drummer for a while, and she and we were doing a gig with the other two guys in the band at a place on the Asbury Boardwalk, right next to the mini golf. It was called the Sandwich.
Hmm.
It was a little moving pod, but it was a sandwich shop. And it was a great venue. It was a great gig because the sun was setting behind you, the moon was rising over the ocean. It
That's
was on the
awesome.
boardwalk.
Ah, so
Beautiful,
beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
So Asbury Park did this thing where they had bonfires they're called bonfires on the beach in order to try and keep people coming to the boardwalk. And they
Yeah.
would do a bonfire in front of a different business on the boardwalk out on the beach.
They still do that.
They
Do they
actually
still?
did that
Yeah.
this past summer. Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
So I happened to look down because this night it wasn't the bonfire was like a little further down towards the Silver Ball Museum,
Mm.
towards the Pinball Museum. But I happened to look down towards Convention Hall, which was on my left. And I see this guy walking down the boardwalk, and he's got on jeans and motorcycle chaps. One side of his shirt's tucked in, the other one's not.
Yeah.
A helmet under his arm, denim jacket. And he's playing, and I'm playing. As he's getting close, and there's nobody around him. He's literally by himself on the boardwalk. It's the end of September anyway. People are,
Yeah.
the boardwalk's not that crowded. So I'm looking, and to the left, I look, and he's getting closer. And look at this idiot trying to look like Bruce Springsteen. I thought, well, it's Asbury Park. Everybody wants to look like Bruce Springsteen.
That's true.
And so as he's getting closer, and I look over, and I thought to myself, "You
Oh.
idiot! That is Bruce Springsteen." And it's funny because Joe had just finished doing some backing vocal tracks on an album he put out called "The Promise,"
Hmm.
the making of Darkness on the Edge of Town. It was an HBO special and all that stuff. And he put out some CD. I think it had 7 or 10 tracks on it, but Joe did backing vocals on like 3 or 4 of them.
Wow.
And so he stopped and he's talking to us, and people were just driving, pedaling by on their bikes and walking by. Hey, Bruce, what's up? Hey, boss, what's going on? Hey, check her out. She's pretty good. He's like, yeah, I know she is.
Nice.
And he sat and shot the bologna with us for a minute or two, and then walked on his way.
That's so cool.
That is awesome.
He was always good. Like, I mean, I worked at Delicious Orchards, and when his first wife would come in shopping, he'd be out there with like the cart boys, and they would just chit chat. He'd be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's going on?" We live right there,
Yeah,
so
it's so easy
He's
to
always
forget that they're
approachable.
normal people.
yeah. And he
Famous
was more,
people are normal people.
yeah. And he of all of them, even the New Jersey Hall of Fame, like he would always be really comfortable. He'd stay to the end, and he'd say goodbye to everybody. Where the other people were a little bit more snooty. His mom and his aunts were there, and they
Yeah.
were all chatting and stuff. I mean, he just was very personable in person.
Everybody
So.
says that about
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, he is.
Everybody in Freehold too. That whole
Mhm.
area. What is it? What's that bar in Freehold?
Moore's Tavern.
Yeah, or
Oh,
the
there's Moors.
This
Escondido
No,
or whatever.
That's-
Jack. No, it's
The
The
Jack.
Court Jester.
Court Jester.
Court
that's
Jester,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's the Court Jester does
I'm
American
like,
Hotel.
it's-
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Court Jester. They say the same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Coming down. Or
Yeah.
Federici's, the pizza
Oh,
place.
I love their pizza.
Yeah.
I grew up in
Absolutely.
Marlboro next door, so
Oh, yeah,
Creole
yeah.
was where we were. So
Gotcha.
yes, Federici's.
I love Federici's pizza.
Thin crust.
Yeah.
I have to get them to be our
They're a
sponsor.
good friend of City of Angel.
Are they
Are they?
really good?
Uh-huh.
And Nicole.
Oh,
Maybe they'll send a
nice.
pie over.
Well, now.
Well, now
I
that you
meet-
say
I meet her
that.
there for lunch sometimes because her husband owns that. They live in Manalapan.
Oh yeah, right.
Nice.
right.
Well,
Or Manasquan. I'm sorry, Manasquan.
Okay.
Same
I could
thing.
live either one.
Yeah.
Majorly different, but
same
same,
thing.
thing.
There's pizza.
Yeah.
Common denominator.
Well, there's
pizza.
That is good
Freddy
pizza.
Feds. Is it Freddie Feds? Each kind of branched off and did their own thing.
They were
too, the
like,
kids.
Springsteen comes in here for lunch once in a while. With his agent, he meets his agent.
Mhm.
Well, Vinny told me he'll call him up every now and then. Hey, Loper, let's go to Windmill and grab a hot dog.
Yeah.
So, you're just tuning in. This is Rock On Radio. I am Danny Coleman. This is Chelsea Downey. That is Evan Melendez. You got the tune cranked
Which
up
one?
from Mr. Toft?
I do.
The one that was on the right, the second one. Tune number 2. For years, I played drums for this fellow by the name of Kevin Toft. He recently, he and I parted ways a couple of years ago, but he recently went into the studio, like within the last few months, and recorded some of the material that we used to play. And I'm not exactly sure who's playing drums on this. I'm thinking it's either the guy who owns the studio or the drummer that he uses now. But this is a tune that he wrote, which lyrically I always got a kick out of. It's like a bluesy tune. It's called "What You Need to Know," or "I'll Tell You What You Need to Know." It's about a gypsy woman and a fortune teller and all kinds of fun
Cool.
stuff.
Nice.
Lyrically, it's kind of funny, but I always enjoyed playing it. And Toft, I hope you're listening. I told you I was playing this tonight, so I hope you're paying attention. Pay attention, Toft. But maybe you can text me or email me, tell me who's playing drums for you on this one. But this is Kevin Toft. He used to have a band that we were the alternators, because other than myself on drums and his son on percussion, we didn't know who was going to be joining us. Sometimes we had one bass player, sometimes we had another bass player. Something, But this is, I think now they're called Kevin Toft and the
They are still the
Alternators.
alternators.
Yeah, they are the alternators. Yeah.
because he had changed the name for a while to something else. But
They're back.
they're back. But it's Kevin Toft and his song called "What You Need to Know" here on Rock On Radio.
Lady woman, for Mrs. G. She said that I cool down, bring it up, man. I was reading leaves. I got a weekend for tarot cards and a crystal ball. Before I'm done with you, boy, I'm gonna do some more, baby. I can tell you what you need to know. I can tell you what you need to know. Reach out in that pocket there, pull out some dope, and I'm ready to tell you everything you need to know. She said I give advice on her walk in life. I tell you which one of them sin will be your next ex-wife. I can help you with your fortune and fame. You might try a different town, maybe change your name. But just a lady, I don't wanna know every turn in life and how it's gonna go. I live by the music, but I could die by the sword. And in the air, I'm returning, and that's the reward. I can tell you what you need to know. I can tell you what you need to know. If you reach down in that pocket and pull out some notes, well, I'm ready to tell you everything you need to know. Sister lady, thank you so much for the tea, man. I really don't think there's anything else that you can do for me. So take your Ouija board and your crystal ball. Why don't you open yourself a little door in the hall? You know it. I can tell you what you need to know. I can tell you what you need to know. You got no chance of coming in between me and my dose. So just say, lady, I know that you need to know.
Well, Kevin Toft and the Alternators. I can tell you what you need to know here on Rock On Radio. Toft has been on this program multiple times.
Mhm.
He was a staple at the Christmas parties.
Gotcha. What happened?
last.
He fell off the face of the earth.
No, he's still. I talked to him today
Oh, nice.
because I couldn't find the original email, and I put his name in. It says I had nothing from him. I'm like, that's impossible. It came from his daughter's email. That's why. Because he, like I, is technologically challenged.
Technically,
I can't even say it, let alone 609-241-7103 if you want to give us a call. If anybody has questions for Chelsea or Evan or Claire or I
Not for me.
or Art.
All right.
Not for us either.
Yeah, right.
Well, maybe
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not that interesting.
Oh no, I thought you were very good.
Well, maybe with the Arkansas thing.
you can put Danny in this place. That's
very-
okay.
There we go.
She's hit me
Good.
twice
She
tonight.
has.
She's
She,
got the hang of it.
yes, she does.
Yeah, see?
She's a pro. You
I'm
thought
telling
she's. I
you.
think she's just a ringer.
Think so?
Yeah. I think she's
she's-
just fooling us.
I think she's probably been on every radio show.
Everyone, yes, ever
Just-
made.
Yeah, I'll tell this old guy.
That's right. We're gonna put him in his place. We'll say we're novices.
Oh, I've never been on a radio.
Never, Mr. Coleman. Never.
It's like the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We seek the Grail. So then we already got one.
Great movie.
I was thinking more like run away, run away, run away.
So, yeah, but she's still here.
I'm gonna rewatch that movie.
I guess
That
those
makes
shackles worked. So, Evan,
Yes.
now it is your turn
Oh,
to step
excellent.
into the spotlight.
He
You,
backs up a little.
you are a member.
Yeah.
I should just let Chelsea interview and go.
That's a good idea.
Go get a sandwich or something.
I hear him
Pizza
talking
place
now.
Right.
Pizza places.
That's right.
Giordano's.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry between Federicis and Jordan.
But Giordano's is like 900 miles away.
Oh man.
Well, we got an hour. You even hear the bell tolling. So
And the bell toll.
there you go. So you are a drummer, and
Yes.
the name of your band is Super Judge.
Yes.
Care to elaborate
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
either of those topics?
Yeah. So, well, talk about the band first. Been together probably the better part of 4 years or so. We did get our name from the famous Monster Magnet. Fun story about our name is it took us forever to pick it.
Yes,
Right.
it
It actually came down to maybe 20 final names in a hat, and we had my mom reach into the hat and pick the name, and it was Super Judge. It was our bass player. He's the one that came up with it because he's a very big fan of Monster Magnet, and I was very happy that we took the name, and we've been running with it for most of the time that we've been together, which is great. But it's just one of those things. We could come up with names for songs like it was nothing, but the name of the band was impossible to come up with.
Always is.
Yeah, it's
Well, it's
just
important.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Although
Important thing.
John Paul Jones
Hmm.
of Led Zeppelin had perhaps one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard. It's not an exact, but I'm gonna give you the gist of the
Mhm.
quote. He was talking about his band that he was in. What's it?
Yardbirds.
No,
Oh.
damn crooked vultures or something. like
Oh.
that. Right?
I don't know.
And somebody asked him about the name, and he's like, there's so many things. You got these band name generators, and you go online, and you got this, and you got that. He goes, gone are the days where you would just down a fifth, sacrifice a goat, and go on stage.
There's a band name for you right there.
There you go.
There you go.
Down a fifth, sacrifice a goat.
You heard it here
Actually,
first.
there's a band coming up. I can't remember where they're playing, but they're called Pretty Goats.
Nice.
Yeah, they're not bad. I beat you to it.
You had to go.
I'm thinking down a fifth is kind of a cool name.
Down a fifth. Down a fifth of my blood. So, all right, go ahead. I digressed again.
No problem. But about me, I've been playing drums since I was 13. Basically, after I fell out of interest of playing sports, I didn't know what to do, and I guess my dad thought I also didn't know what to do. So my older brother actually played guitar, and I would go with him to the music store sometimes, and I had no idea this was going to happen. So I do all of this to my dad, but I was just in the drum room kind of hitting stuff, and he thought I had, was enjoying myself. And maybe a couple of weeks later, I had a drum set. You know, he
Nice.
went
What'd
out.
your mother
went
think of
and
that?
bought it.
I had
She's always been supportive, but I'm sure not the happiest.
They were divorced 3 weeks later.
I had to sell like 6 pints of blood to get a drum set. You know, all he did was
There
sit
you
down.
go.
What music store?
You know, I think it might have been Highway Music on Route 18.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, where did you grow up?
I actually grew up in Old Bridge.
Oh, okay.
originally.
All right.
We first actually lived in Hoboken, but I was a little kid, so I don't really remember much of that.
Hoboken,
but,
Arkansas.
No, my family's all from New York and New Jersey, so I'm definitely a local boy. But I moved to Long Branch with Chelsea. She's the one that really got me to finally get out of Old Bridge, and it
He was so
wasn't too
scared.
hard. It
Mhm.
wasn't too
He
hard.
was so scared to get out of that town.
Because my first apartment wasn't too far from my folks' home. I was like, I gotta be close to the kids, so know.
Yeah. And I was
can't
like, I
play
got to
there.
be close to the beach. So
yeah, well, she won, and
Yeah.
I love the beach some.
So you should have moved on to the Route 36 bridge. Oh, there's Sandy Hook. Hey. Oh, wait. Wrong beach.
Would you stop?
So,
You
what
had
happens?
to go there.
see what happens when we don't have a music guest? We do
What?
now, though.
What? There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
still the same.
So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I'm
No problem. But going back to Super Judge, it's me and 3 of my buddies, and we really are good friends. The guitar player, his name's Dave Grifkin. I met him in freshman year of high school, and we've been best friends ever since. We've been on and off in various different bands, but we've always played together. That was something between us, was like a musical connection. So he's the guitar player, the only guitar player. And then we also have a bass player named Lucas Miller. Totally owe one of our other friends that originally played with us for meeting him, because or else we'd never known him. He met him at a barbecue, and then was like brought him to practice one day, and we're like, this guy can play. And it was
And cook ribs.
yeah, and cook ribs. But when when he first joined up, he was only 19 years old, but he looks like he was 25 already. No, we had no idea that he wasn't even old enough to drink when I first met him. Me and the guitar player, we're in our 30s, so we're a bit older than the bass player and the keyboard player, John Amoroso, who is best friends with our bass player. So it's 2 pairs of best friends, and I think that's why we get along so well.
That's cool.
yeah.
So we really are democratic when it comes to a lot of stuff. That's 3 of us sing. Everybody contributes to the music and the ideas and the vocals and everything. Like, so I think it
Now,
just
do you
works.
have a CD or an EP?
We did just record an EP at Surefire Studios in Long Branch. Little did I know that it was actually maybe a mile down the street from my apartment at the time. But Joe DeMaio is he sold us on that place. He's amazing, and he did such a good job with us. We recorded 5 tracks plus an intro on there. We finished that earlier. Not earlier this year, I should say. Now it's 2019. We finished it towards the end of the summer last year, and we've been just doing shows ever since, because we eventually want to make it an LP, because we have a lot of music. So it was actually hard picking all the tracks. But yeah, the EP is called Space City. And like I said, you five of our songs plus the intro on there. And you can find it for free, both on YouTube and SoundCloud. Our SoundCloud page is soundcloud.com/SuperJudgeBand. We're also on Instagram, Facebook as well. Just Super Judge Band. You'll find us on there.
You can just
Okay.
Google me, and they came right up.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
do you have
Okay.
one? What song would you like Art to play?
I was thinking a song called Mega Pig. And
Mega Pig.
yeah, this is a song that actually saw a couple different forms and names and such. 'Cause originally we had a silly idea of trying to write like a full story, like Pink Floyd. And believe it or not, Mega Pig is not inspired by Pink Floyd, but we always liked how they had an entire album that just went together, kind of flowed together. So we attempted to write this silly story about a character, a superhero called Mega Pig, and it was literally a pig that drank something from space and became a superpowered hero and tried to save the universe. It was really, it wasn't that great,
Claire,
but
there's hope for me yet.
No.
it was very silly. we moved far away from that. So the song is actually
They were
ended up-
actually called concept
yes, it was a concept album. Our best shot was not that good, so we went far away from that and just wanted to be true to the music and everything. And this song actually ended up being about the sin of greed, believe it or not. And so we kept the name of Mega Pig. We felt it was appropriate, and it's like I said, our keyboard player John. He does the vocals on this. He also wrote the lyrics for it as well. And I'll let the tracks say the rest.
All right, now Chelsea, would you
Yes.
like to grill him? Our interview him a little bit before you, any questions for him about this material?
Any questions for you?
Yeah. Go ahead, interview him.
know.
He's the easiest subject you know, which means either you're going to walk out of here married or divorced. One or the other.
I know so many things already. It's hard. What
Oh, so you've learned
questions
some
do I
stuff here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
have? Sure.
Wow.
All right. Well, then I'll tell you what.
Is she the inspiration for anything?
There'll be a quiz later.
She is actually the inspiration for one of our songs that's on the EP called "Someone to Call Home." But
Okay.
I do say the S word in there, so I
Mm.
figured that
Yeah,
if
we
you
can.
couldn't
We'll
pick
play
it-
that later. We'll play that later.
We'll play that on the way out.
There you go. Actually, you know what?
Did I make
We're going to let Chelsea
Mhm.
make her radio debut right now.
Oh man.
Big announcement.
I mean, she's already made her radio debut, but we're going to let her introduce this song, which is
Mhm.
called Mega Pig by.
Super Judge.
So go ahead, introduce it.
Okay. Well, this is Mega Pig by Super Judge.
Let's go. Racing faster, go. Breathe in, follow your nose. Always wanting more. Nothing ever felt so strong before. Over the fence, live like me to be free. I see a lady from the reach. Just because I said I meant sorry. Is the These moments they feel so free. Well, nothing stops you now, but you know you're where I'm only from. Run through your family tree. Things like you know what it means. Being captured cage, feel like a screaming rage. Cut all around the world, but there's plenty more of me, that's for sure.
I like it.
Cool.
Super Judge right here on Rock On Radio.
Super Judge is one word. I just learned.
Yes, Super Judge is one word.
Fun fact.
That's
Mhm.
how Monster Magnet wrote it, so that's how we wrote it too.
Super Judge,
See?
but not super judgmental, like you said.
We try not to be.
Beg to differ.
That's a whole.
Ooh, she makes a difference.
That's a whole other band.
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole other show.
That's
You could call it.
Tune in Wednesday. For the
Yeah,
health and
the
wellness.
health- Now that would be the wealth and wellness.
The wealth and wellness show.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta ask her
You still
questions
get-
about us.
See?
Not just
Ah.
the band. See, the band, you're fine. You're good. But if you want her to grill me, it's gonna be personal.
Ah.
See, from one fellow male to another, I would not do that to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate
He's trying to bury himself right now.
I know he kind of put himself up to that.
We have
It's
full-
true. He did. He opened himself up for
We have 43 minutes. We can turn this into a roast.
that.
We have a phone, 609-241-7103.
There you go.
Any
Yeah.
questions?
Art, you see what he just did? That shows the difference between youth and inexperience. And us.
You'd never open yourself up to that.
No,
No.
never.
Right.
I gotta let,
9.
Not in the last
No,
20 years.
nil.
gotta
He
let her get her
doesn't have
shots
a-
in
He
now.
doesn't have a ring on yet. That's why.
I'm speaking from.
Inexperience.
I was married for happily 34 years.
Which 34?
The second.
Who is that comedian? Or that comedian? How long have you been married? 10 wonderful years. Oh, really? Yeah, 24 altogether.
That's right. Mhm.
I chose say every year counts as 10.
Dog years.
So I'm like
That's 7.
340 years.
Back when this show started, I was on AM radio, and we had a band in for the life of me. I can't remember who it was, but the drummer was sitting there, and he was an older gentleman. He was older than me at the time, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Which means-
Whew.
Which means he's like a tree. We should
He
cut
was
him open
gumming
and
his
count the
food.
rings. Probably. He was. He came in with an
With a
aid.
walker.
With an aid.
Hearing aid.
And I said to him, I said, how long have you been playing the drums? He goes, 7 years. I said, really? He goes, yeah, it's dog years. Yeah. All right. So when's Super Judge's next gig?
Well, up
Super
in the air
Judge,
right now.
yeah.
We're working on it. You know, we just played 3 in a row, which was
You just played the
fantastic.
Saints.
Yeah, we played the
Mhm.
Saint last night. Thank you again, Scott, for that opportunity. He's a really good guy for
The
local
Stamper.
bands. And you know, the weekend before we played the Pony. Kyle's also great, and we played the Crossroads the weekend before that. But yeah, no, we are open and looking. We have some things working for February, but we're not ready to announce just yet. So, but when we do, we will post everything online like we always do.
You realize February is like 2 weeks away.
I know.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, if any bookers are looking for a band, you know, we're more than welcome. Superjudgeband.com. You can find all of our stuff. We're superjudgeband@gmail.com if you want to send me an email.
Nice.
So what kind of music do you like now, Chelsea, besides Super Judge? Of course.
I like a lot. I'm big on like Mumford and Sons. I love them.
Who's the guy you like to sing in the shower all the time? It starts with an H.
Wait a minute. Well, you have an open relationship. I like to sing in the shower with a guy. Yeah, go sing in the shower with that guy.
That's not how I said that.
Yeah, you caught me off guard. I was like, wait, what?
No.
Well, it's one of those speakers you bring into the shower. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay.
You can tune in next week to our new show, Divorce Radio.
Rock off the finger radio.
Rock on, rock off.
We'll be talking about those big relationship ending moments. No.
That's it. What was the breaking point? Godforsaken radio show.
That's great.
He thought he was going to propose.
Who's
We've had that happen.
Who's here? How do you even say his name?
Don't know.
That's who he's trying to get at. Who I sing with in the shower all the time. Hoosier.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sure you wish I wasn't just messing up my words when I said, because he's pretty handsome, right? Hoosier or whatever. That guy.
Who's here?
Yeah, he is.
Who?
Who?
I,
The artist that we're talking about, you know.
The
you were
artist
just kidding.
formerly
Okay.
known as Hoosier.
Who's here?
I'm like about
Who's
to
here?
answer
Who's
you.
here?
I'm
You
like,
know.
Who's here? Yeah. I don't know. I'm put on the spot. Who do I like to listen to?
You have
Who's in-
Sylvanessa.
Who's in your?
Sylvanesso. They're great. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
They're great.
Who are they? Kind of music on?
I guess more indie. They're kind of soft, more like electronic type, but like Alt J. Do you know Alt J?
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah,
Heard that and them before.
like that. But they have a female singer, and she's amazing. So yeah, I don't know. I have a wide range. I can listen to anything, and it just depends on my mood, honestly.
Ah,
It's true. Music
Yeah.
and mood. They
Yeah.
go together.
That was a subliminal message. So what do you listen to when you're angry? Super Judge.
No, that's what makes her angry.
Ah, I knew there was a catch.
Yeah.
How about you, Evan?
I'm also pretty diverse as well, but there's definitely rock is always in in my roots and such. Big Chili Peppers fan. If I want to go heavy, I the shirt I'm wearing right now, Periphery. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're more on the hardcore side of music, but doing it well. I'm not into like the Whitechapel sound where it's literally just the guy screaming. I've never been a fan
I
of
like
that.
to call that Cookie Monster metal.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Some of them guys are really scary looking.
yeah.
more like, if I'm going heavy, more of the Opeth Periphery, where there's beauty and skill in their music still, not just double bass and blast beats in my ear and everything. So, but then outside of that, want to feel good, Twiddle, Pigeons Playing Ping
Yeah.
Pong. I don't know if you're into the jam band music at all, but I love those guys.
Our buddy Michael Ray plays with Fish quite often.
Nice.
Tours
Excellent.
with Fish
Yeah.
from time to time. Yeah, Mike does that. That's like what Cosmic Crew was like this huge jam band that was jazz and funk and fusion and rock. It was like a combination of so many things. And,
Yeah.
Every song's 26 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I know. So, Art,
Yes, sir.
why don't we play some more music?
What would you like to play?
I handed you a CD, which I just received in the mail. Now, I don't know if you guys know them or not, but there's a band from the Asbury Long Branch area. They're called The Wag.
Wow.
They just celebrated their 20th year together. Now, Brian, the bass player, and the fellow who writes most of the material, and Alicia, the vocalist, they're married. They've been, the band's been around for 20 years, and they've had their share of tragedy. Their drummer, who was also a relative, a brother-in-law, passed away right when they were just starting to get, going, and that set them back for a bit. But they added the, Don Lee, who was also, he's from the Freehold area, I believe. They added Don, and now they have another drummer, and they've started to make their way back. They actually, I don't know if you were here that night. Art did it for me. We recorded a video of for their 20th anniversary CD release shows at the Stone Pony, and they had a video. People just made a video
cool.
about their things about the Wag, and they took snippets from each of them.
Nice.
And Art did it for me. And
Nice.
we made the video, Art.
Did we?
Yeah, we made the video.
Cool.
Your basic, wow, 20 years, congratulations, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, they just sent me, I literally picked it up yesterday. They just sent me a brand new disc, which is called Carry On, right?
We carry on.
Or We Carry On. And why don't we just play the...
You want to carry? We carry on.
Yeah, what's
The third track.
What's the... Yeah, right? That's what I'm supposed to do. What's the second track there?
She's a devil.
Ah, can I have that?
Well, let's pick some.
Okay, there you go. It's She's a Devil. We'll play that one, Art. But we're going to let Chelsea introduce that one too. What do you think, Chelsea?
All right.
Well, before you do that, why don't you tell everybody that they're listening to Rock on Radio?
Okay. You're listening to Rock on Radio. Here is She's a Devil by The Wag.
There you go. Excellent. Getting good at
How come I could not see all the pain she's brought to me? Was it there all the time and I just couldn't see it? There's no truth left at all. Why does she even call? Letting go will be tough, just enough of this. And do I bring it down? Did I break your crown? There's no happy ending to this. And is it not enough taking all my stuff and leaving me with broken dreams for the world to see? 'Cause she's a devil and I can't believe she's a devil. What she does to me, I can't believe all the things that she said. Spending the time laying in my head. She's a devil, yeah. In case you haven't heard, don't say another word. Spin a line on your own time, I don't wanna hear it. There's nothing left to trust when all that's left is love. And that's lost as well, 'cause I broke those spells on me. And did I let you down? Am I just your clown? There's no happy ending to it. And is it not enough taking all my stuff and leaving me with problems for the world to see? She's a devil and I can't believe it. She's a devil, what she does to me. I can't believe all the things that she said. Spending her time playing games in my head. She's a devil and I can't believe it. She's a devil, what she does to me. I can't believe all the things that she said. Spending her time playing games in my head. She's a devil, yeah, yeah. I can't believe all the things that you said. Spending the time hanging in my head. She's a devil, and I can't believe that she's a devil. What she does to me, I can't believe all the things that she said. Spending the time hanging in my head. Devil, yeah, yeah.
The Wag. She's a Devil here on Rock On Radio, introduced by our co-host Chelsea. Woo! And she brought along with her Evan, from Super Judge.
Woo.
So now, Chelsea, now that you're
Oh, now you call it Chels. That's cool.
yeah, we're down.
You're on-
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
okay,
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're bugs. You do know I've got socks older than you, right?
No.
Anyway,
So cute.
yeah. So Chelsea, hey, now, about that guy in the shower.
Yeah. Who?
Who's here?
Who? Who's here?
Who?
There you go. I forget what I was going to say.
We don't know.
Oh,
I
right.
totally love doing
There's medication for that.
that.
609-241-7103. If you have any questions or comments, I will send you something just for calling the show and joining in the mayhem. I have tote bags, I have coffee mugs, I have pens, I have magnets.
We have peppermint bark.
We have peppermint,
bark.
We have
York peppermint patties.
M&Ms.
M&Ms, peanut
right.
and regular.
we have the infamous Rock On Radio to give away, the Dial hand lotion. We have all kinds of things.
Yeah, don't ask.
Oh yeah.
There's a fun story behind that. I don't know. I'm kind of interested now.
Gee.
Well, I'll tell you.
Don't get too excited.
Yeah, it's not that big a story.
When there's lube involved, he does.
Excellent.
Thought it wasn't that kind of stuff.
Sorry.
My, listen to sirens.
Yeah. Woo! They're coming to get you.
My,
They got you.
my ride's here.
Taking you home.
See, what happened is my day job. Yes, I have a day job because I know you think that the
It's lucrative.
being this high profile internet radio disc jockey. Actually, I'm a personality.
You are a personality. Walks with personality.
I'm not spinning records, so I'm
No.
not a disc jockey.
Right.
And Art's the engineer, he's the button pusher
Nobody's a disc jockey
anymore.
No, exactly.
So, but I know that you probably think being this high profile internet talking piece that the money is like so lucrative.
Yeah.
I could tell. You
Thinking
ludicrous
about-
came in. That was
Ludicrous.
ludicrous.
Thought I saw a Porsche outside or
Hmm.
That was a neighbor's car.
something. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
a guy
thought we were
from-
going back to your
That's a
mansion
pastor's.
party afterwards.
Oh, we are.
You're in it. No.
We're going. No. We're going to go back to the Hotel Silverado, and we're going to party like it's 1999 in the bed of my pickup
Party like
truck.
it's 1959.
1959.
Anyway, so my day job, we received a skid, accidentally, a skid, and I'm not kidding you. For those of you at home who are watching on radio, we have a skid about this high of Dial hand lotion. So we called the company that shipped it to us and come, your driver dropped this off here. No, we don't know what you're talking. What? So we called Dial and they're like, oh, we don't want it. So we open up one of the cases.
We ship it out. We
And
don't
they were-
take it back.
Right? We open up one of the cases and they
They were looking at
were
it offloaded.
they were a 2-pack, not Tupac, a 2-pack
Mhm.
of samples of hand lotion, like in foil packs about this big. And they were attached, you could just rip one off at a time. But there was a third segment, which was a coupon, which expired.
I hate when that
Now,
happens.
where I'm at, you cannot have expired products. Why is this stuck in my foot?
God, it's a whole other kind of question.
I'm glad it was your foot.
I think.
Oh no.
So so we can't have expired product like that laying around, so we have to get rid of it. So my boss comes in, he says, I don't care what you do with it, get rid of it.
The product was expired.
The product, no, the coupons were expired.
Oh.
Oh.
But if somebody found it, if the State Department of Health came into where I worked and saw it, they'd say, well, that's expired. That's a violation. You've got to get rid of it because the coupons were bad.
Mm.
The product lasts forever. It's hand lotion.
Yeah.
It's grease.
Oh, it's like Twinkies.
Exactly.
It's like Twinkies, yeah.
It's like Twinkies. When the big one drops and
Exactly.
when the Earth evolves 300 years later, you're going to find two
Hand
things.
lotion.
You're going to find three things. You're going to find hand lotion, Twinkies, and
And
Keith
cockroaches.
Richards. And so I've got this hand lotion, and somebody says, "Well, guys," so I took like 5 cases of it, and there's 1,000 to a case. So what I do is I instantly thought, okay, I'll give this away. It'll be the Rock On Radio lube. You lube up your dermis with the Dial hand lotion.
There you go.
Right?
Did I get one in my basket?
I've got them in the truck if you want.
Did you get a Jack Furlong CD?
No, really get on.
You're leaving
You might
with
get
one
two.
tonight.
Jack Furlong. I think I got them. You got any in your car?
We got
What?
like a case
Hand
of
motion?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dial?
No.
I gotta look and
No.
see if I got
No.
it. Anyway, but
I'm not a
will,
supplier.
Wow.
Hey, you got the dial?
No. Oh, gee, yeah.
Smack it around. But so so that is, if I call, hey, you've just won a free 2-pack sample of samples of dial hand lotion. Boring. That's now become rock on radio.
There you go.
Yeah.
The only
Much
radio
better
show
branding.
that leaves you softer
Yeah.
than when you arrived. There's all kinds of catchy things we can
All
do.
kinds of.
Almost sounds like too much information.
I'm with you.
We're on the information superhighway here at Rock On Radio. 609-241-7103. The number to call is
The-
You just said.
It's Aaron Wall.
Oh, 609-241-7103.
Actually, it's on every wall.
It is.
Do you know why that's there?
You know,
For you?
Because Danny can't remember it.
Neither can I.
Mary Ann and I would come in here, and I'd be the only one here. She'd be like, and the number to call is, and I'm like, so Art put them on every wall. That's why we have.
It works.
That's why we have a darn good engineer.
We do.
Engineer Art.
smart.
So,
Smart art.
There you go.
so let's see.
Work
who else?
smarter, not harder.
That's it. Arter and Harter.
Wow.
That's deep. I know. I get deep sometimes. You didn't realize this was a philosophical program.
No,
Decided to come in here.
I didn't.
I don't think she realized it.
Next week's
I didn't
Stephen
know
Hawking.
what to expect. I had no idea.
So since we have Evan here, do we have some more Super Judge to play? What would you like us to play, Evan?
Play the first track, intro into Octopus. I could talk about that. A
Well,
little
you're very
bit.
animal friendly, aren't you?
Um,
Oh, you didn't want to play the one that you wrote for me?
well,
Yeah,
because
that's what I was
there's
going
a
there.
swear word in it, so
It's okay.
Yeah,
we
do
can-
that.
we can-
we can get by.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you
more
will.
important that she's the
As
inspiration.
long as you're not
Yeah.
screaming, you effing this and you effing
No,
that.
it's just
Yeah,
just
yeah.
one line. We don't, I don't.
It's like
I'm
Where's
not
Waldo?
about-
If they find it, then that's the
I'm not
And
about
what was the name of
cursing.
that song?
Someone to call home. Let's play that instead because it's actually about Chelsea here, your
nice.
co-host. Yeah.
See, very important.
I wrote this the lyrics to this song when I first met her. So I was feeling very good. She made me feel like I had someone to call home, literally.
Oh.
But more.
That was when we first.
Way,
It wasn't lost on me. I get it.
notice? It
way
wasn't
right answer.
not
Yeah.
lost on me.
Yeah, no.
I'm thinking, oh, is he in trouble?
Hey, whenever we sing this song or whenever we do this song on stage, I do look for her in the audience when she's there.
Nice.
She always
But that-
loves
He
it.
does.
But that 20-inch ride is blocking her. 22-inch ride symbol.
But yeah, this was actually the first song instrumentally we ever wrote together as a band, and originally we actually called it Space Makeup. Believe it or not, it was just our working title. I know,
I'm
so
glad they
trust me.
changed
Yeah,
it.
me too.
We whenever we write a song, we have working title almost immediately. It just comes to us, and it's usually one of the sillier things, like the song Octopus I was gonna say to play before was originally called Octopus Hot Dogs. Believe it or not. And I don't know if you know what octopus hot dogs are, but it's like a meal. You take little sausages and you put pieces of spaghetti through it, like a cut up hot dog.
Oh, I
and you
have
put
heard of
the
that. I didn't know
spaghetti,
that's what it's
when you
called.
cook it together, it looks like little octopus hot dogs. Yeah. So that was our.
Guess what Danny's doing tomorrow?
It's supposed
Checking
to be
it out.
delicious.
Hey, my daughter and I made spaghetti tacos.
Yes,
Oh,
there you
there you
go.
go.
Yeah.
So,
But obviously, we changed that song. It's not about octopus hot dogs.
Mhm.
But I digress. Someone Call Home. It's it's about love. The classic. So, and
so how do octopus hot dogs
all right.
be about love?
No. That's the other song
different
about
songs,
octopus.
two
That was the
Oh.
makeup one. So some
Space
makeup. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the space makeup more into someone to call home.
Yeah, I don't know how we got to.
Yeah,
Octopus
we're
Hot
glad they
Dogs.
changed the.
Jumping all over the place. Yes.
Yeah.
Space makeup, is that when you
I
paint-
followed that
Is
though.
that when as a woman paints her face green, she's like that chick from Star Trek that William Shatner had an
Sure.
affair with? It was like all over. It was like blasphemous at the time
Yeah.
in 1965.
That would have been a good concept. I wish that we were on this show way before now.
You wish you were
Sorry.
born back then.
You could still write it.
You're bleeding.
I'm bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered why my nose was. Oh my lord, I am bleeding. I'm bleeding for you.
We didn't even start rocking.
I know. Let's get.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll get you. Hold on.
Hey, thank you. All right. So, all right. You know what? One of you two introduce it because I'm bleeding.
You introduce it.
I'll
I'm done.
introduce it. All right. Well, this is Someone to Call Home by Super Judge.
Oh, don't know where to go. Yeah, got my head spinning round. Never felt so alone. Wish to be found. I just need someone. Where are they now? Someone to call home. Oh, it's fast on the run. Yeah, I feel love to cry. Oh, how should I lie? You know, wish to be found. I just need someone. Where are they now? Someone to call. Oh, could it be? Yeah, oh, for me. You. Oh, it was always you. Yeah, the way you looked at me takes me to infinity. Wish to be found. I just need someone. Where are they now? Someone to call. Oh, baby. Yeah. Oh, baby. Love is free. I'll sing it loud. This one's for me.
Bands either play live.
Or the musical
Oh, I thought you were giving us another one.
interlude.
Yeah,
That was a guitar interlude brought to you by Super Jug.
little background.
So now that you've been on this high profile radio program, where do you intend on going from here?
I thought we were going to your mansion.
Oh, that's right.
You just launched your career.
To the Hotel Silverado. We're going to a big party in the
Because you own a mansion and a yacht.
That's right. Elmer J. Ford. I own a mansion and the yacht. That's way before your time.
Yes.
Looney
Yeah.
Tunes. Looney
Elmer,
Tunes.
Elmer
No, I
Fudd,
know, I know.
Bugs Bunny.
I watched plenty of reruns.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, man.
So
I know the
actually-
names. I can't. You know.
No, I'm sorry. I have to do this to you because remember when you were
Ooh.
like, you described Elmer Fudd to me, and you're like, they should make a cartoon character, and she described it, and I was like, they have one. It's called Elmer Fudd. Like
Yeah,
literally.
that was just like a week ago.
She's like, it'd be great if there was a character who talked funny and hunted or something. And I was like, Elmer Fudd, and she didn't know. who we were
Well,
talking
Britney
about.
Spears.
Before he passed away, Robin Williams used to do a
Mhm.
great skit,
Mhm.
right? He used to say, Elmer Fudd does Bruce Springsteen. I'm driving in my car. I turn on the radio. Fire.
That's awesome.
We're going back to Bruce Springsteen, actually. I wanted to say before I forgot. My dad used to always tell a story about the one time he went to go see Bruce Springsteen live. Apparently, they do this thing where they go, Bruce, right? And he thought the
They're
whole
booing.
entire time that they were booing. And
Wasn't
he's
that
like,
crazy?
why are you going to a Bruce concert and booing?
That is true.
Yeah.
It does sound like that though. It's terrible
Mhm.
almost, but I guess.
Yeah.
There's another true story.
Good
I
thing.
saw first time I ever saw Springsteen was at the Old Spectrum in Philadelphia. Second level seats, good second level seats too. They weren't on the side of the stage, but they were between the front of the stage and we were like first row, 2nd
Mhm.
level. I mean, that's a great seat.
Yeah.
And he played for 4+ hours.
Wow.
Like he
Mhm.
always does. It was the last night, 7 of 7 at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. And Born in the USA tour. So it was 1984.
Wow.
Okay. And I'll just take a guess at how much my tickets were.
$60.
I was gonna say 30.
Each. You're saying each.
$16.
I was gonna say 25.
Damn.
Now, across the way,
I went and saw the band at the Spectrum. $5.
did you see that thing that somebody posted with the 50th anniversary of Woodstock coming up?
Yeah, I actually did see it.
Peter Grant, who was Led Zeppelin's manager, turned down Woodstock because he didn't want his band being on a bill with so many other bands.
Yeah.
Figured they wouldn't get the attention that they deserved. So you know where they played the weekend of Woodstock?
Convention
Park.
Hall.
Convention Hall in
Convention Hall,
Asbury
yeah.
Park. The ticket price
wow.
was $2.50.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Wow.
1969.
Here, I found something for you.
Yeah, right. What'd you find?
Right now, I'd like to do very. This is Elmer Fudd and Bruce Springsteen.
There you go.
I'm driving in my car. I turn on the radio. I put
That's
That's
great.
great.
Let it go.
Let it
You
go.
gotta-
Let it go. You
Yeah,
didn't find it.
we got to get the end.
you say no.
Here it is. Coming up. After this, you can turn.
You say you don't like it. I say you're a liar. But when we get
There you
it's like fire.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Robin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Springsteen was $16, and across the street, which is now the site of Lincoln Financial Field, was JFK Stadium. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Lincoln Financial Field's built on the old site, I think.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it is
too
all
young
of
to
it.
know
Veteran
that.
Stadium is a parking lot. So Lincoln, really? No.
I wasn't a Phillies person.
Actually, I thought where Veterans Stadium was going to be the entertainment complex.
No, that's for the old Spectrum. Xfinity Live sits
Right,
on the
you're
site
right,
of the
right,
old
right,
Spectrum,
right.
Broad and Patterson. And across the street was Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
the Victory Tour. I heard they played 55 minutes and they were done. Ticket price was $50.
Wow.
Now, 16 for 4 hours or
Yeah.
Right.
50 for 55 minutes.
Mhm.
Or an hour and 5 minutes. It was something,
Mhm.
whatever it was. Springsteen outdid him by like 3 hours.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, well, it happens.
Mhm.
It happens to us.
But
a
people
lot.
pay them.
Once again, this is Rock on Radio. You've got about 6 minutes if you want to call in and ask Chelsea any questions like, what on earth were you thinking?
And all she said that T-shirt. My parents went wherever, and all I got
Yeah,
is a stupid
well, I got this
T-shirt.
stupid t-shirt.
I've been on this basket, and all I got was
This
crazy co-host.
co-host.
Wait, I get Rock on Radio lube.
That's true.
Right.
That's
She
true.
gets the Rock on Radio lube. She's got the tote bag. She's got a magnet.
And a Jack Furlong seat.
And a
And
Jack
two
Furlong.
Jack Furlong CDs.
There we
Jack's the man.
Mhm.
Jack was kind enough to leave us literally a case of his CD.
Very nice.
He
Because
walked
he
in.
ordered like 10,000 by mistake.
Wow.
I guess.
Seems like there's a lot of mistake ordering going on around
It
here.
wasn't like, hey, here's a CD. Here's a case.
Okay.
I thought he was
Wow.
kidding. He's like, no, take the case. Okay, then. Art uses it as a doorstop. We do.
Or coasters.
Nice.
I try to remember to give them out. I think we should add them to every
We
package.
should.
That's right.
Upcycle.
Mhm.
That's right. That's it. Just pass it along. 609-241-7103. If you want to give us a call this evening. Our guest tonight is also our co-host,
Mhm.
Chelsea Downey, and she brought along Evan Melendez. Oh, Super Judge. Again, what are your band's websites?
You can find us if you go to superjudgeband.com. Our Facebook, facebook.com/superjudgeband. Our music is on both SoundCloud and YouTube. Again, soundcloud.com/superjudgeband. We're just at Super Judge Band everything. So you'll find us
All one word.
all
All
one word.
one
Yep,
word.
Super Judge is one word and not the Monster Magnet album or song. Go a little bit further down,
Mhm.
but eventually, we're planning on getting up
Nice.
there. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's like Rock on
Rise.
Radio.
Takes
You
time.
can find us on Twitter and Instagram
Mhm.
at Rock on Radio, all one word,
Mhm.
all capital letters. Or Facebook, Danny Coleman's Rock on Radio 2, the number 2 on Facebook. See,
Number
that's
2.
how you can find me. Yes, because we're
Because you're full
Number
of.
2. I got you.
Full of number 2.
Number 2.
I knew it was coming from one of you.
Hey, you leave the door open.
I know.
Once again, we broadcast live from the City of Angels radio, coaradio.com here. We're also carried live on Society, bitesradio.com, BYTES. Society, but I don't know if you were here when I said at the beginning of the program, so you might have stepped out for just a Society Bites you can now find on Alexa and Echo.
Oh, really?
Yep, they are their app, you walk in and
And you clap, isn't it? The clapper?
Oh, wait,
Clap
sorry.
on, clap off.
Wait, why did the lights go
Alexa,
off?
please put on the whatever. Oh my
so nice
God,
of
you
you.
just clapped. So you all, yeah, you're not showing your age at all. No.
It's not
Alexa.
the clapper anymore.
You know what that
Clapper.
means.
Did you, no, you
I don't
guys,
have Alexa, but I'll have to try that with Siri.
do you remember? Do you
Siri.
remember the commercials when that first came out? The
Yes.
clapper.
Yeah.
That old lady laying in bed looked like she was having a spasm.
I got news for you. Those commercials are still on.
I know, right?
Oh,
But that and I'm falling and I can't get up.
Yeah, I've fallen and I can't.
Oh,
I had a
light
shirt
bulb.
once that said "Help! I've fallen and I can't reach my beer."
Nice.
I'm not surprised.
My old job, I used to be the person that called when people fell and couldn't get up. Like they would press the button and I would call and be like, and be their support.
They must have slipped on Rock on Radio Loop.
Or they went.
Yeah.
You better be careful over
Alexa.
there.
I can't. I won't be able to. I won't be able to. do
Alexa. Bring me lunch, Alexa.
Why aren't you answering me?
Comes with a free hologram.
Excuse me, sir. What does that mean? I do not understand
Which part?
any of it. Alexa doesn't understand any of it.
Actually, did I tell you the woman, the original voice of Siri,
Yes.
followed me on Twitter?
Wow.
Did she now? Why?
Moving on up.
Because you got these great ideas.
That's right. Clap on, clap on.
35 years too late. but-
Clap on, clap on, Alexa. Clap off, Alexa.
Alexa, I'm hungry.
It's a new app.
Actually, see,
That's what.
but it has responses. When you say, Alexa, I'm hungry, you're getting a list of local restaurants or something.
Yeah, you
I
do.
mean,
That's true.
Well, this is just your lights are going to go on and off.
I think we just got a good a new invention, the new
We
app,
did.
and we'll
Mhm.
call it the Apper.
The apper.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Past
shit.
pending.
I like it.
You know what? The I'm going to get Alexa, and the first thing I'm going to do
Clap.
is clap.
Yay.
Bring me Uber Eats.
You're right.
See?
You might be able to program that. in.
Alexa's gonna have some competition.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad you
The
said it.
apper.
See, she's been here for 2 hours. She knows.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't have
It's all
Alexa, so I don't know what
controversial.
happens if you say COA radio to her.
Oh.
We're going to try.
Does someone have Alexa? Do it
No.
and tell us.
All right. Call it next week and let us know.
Well, Chelsea, Evan, thank you so much for making the trip.
Thank you.
You are welcome to come back, as I said before. But I think actually tonight may have been more fun. At least I had fun.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, it
Who
was
cares
a
about
lot.
listeners?
Yes,
Um,
right.
Next week we have Sharon Lasher is making her
Nice.
return to
Oh,
Rock on
she's
Radio.
gotten better.
Awesome.
I haven't seen Sharon in a while, so she's got some stuff going on. She made a couple more trips to Ireland, I think.
Ooh, cool.
Since the last time she was here, she's got some
Mhm.
recording she's been doing, some shows coming up, so we'll be talking to her next Sunday night right here, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rock on Radio. Again, Chelsea, thank you so much.
And we thank you.
Thank you.
I will. Bob Macon asked me to get you to sign a form absolving him of any legal action. No, thanks to Bob Macon.
Mhm.
for allowing Chelsea to come into our lives
Yay.
Yes.
for 2 hours.
Mhm.
So, Evan, pleasure meeting you, man.
Yeah,
We're going to
absolutely.
talk after
Likewise.
the show. Till next week.
Rock on.
Thank you.